This is The Speaking Show. I'm David Newman, and you're tuned in to the #1 podcast for speakers, consultants, and experts who want to speak more profitably. Christine Cashen, CSP, CPAE, all the C's, all the P's, all the E's. Welcome to The Speaking Show.
Thanks for having me.
It is so great to connect with you. We're going to start in an unconventional sort of way, and then I've got some more questions for you. But I thought it would be fun to have a little lightning round of kind of myths and truths of the speaking business according to Christine Cashen.
Oh, wow.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So it's going to be lightning questions. You can take as long as you like with the answer. Cold calling, terrible idea or necessary evil?
For me, terrible idea.
Terrible idea. Okay. Pure keynote model or keynote coaching, training, consulting, online courses, delicatessen meats, everything.
Great for some people, not for me.
Okay. So we'll dig into what's for you here as we get going into this. Extreme customization or none?
Oh, yes, customization.
Ooh.
I don't know if it has to be extreme, but that's always helpful.
Okay. And then last one, content marketing, blogging, Facebook Live, YouTube, Instagram, all that crazy stuff. Do you do it? Do you not do it?
I think it's a necessary evil.
It is a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well, let's now rewind the tape all the way to the beginning. And you're one of these folks that just, in my perception specifically, is you sprung on the scene some years ago and straight line skyrocket to success. I'm guessing that's not the full story.
No way.
So paint the professional journey of what you did before you became a speaker, because I saw on your website that you have quite an interesting and checkered past before launching into speaker land. And then let's talk about some of the early chapters and early phases of your speaking adventure too. But how did you get all this crazy stuff started?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. And it has been a long and winding road, and it's been awesome. But I first started when I was a college recruiter in Michigan. I realized that the speaking part of my job was my favorite part of my job and the best I was at my job. And early on, I knew I wasn't a very good employee, sitting through meetings, things like that. I wanted to make a living, wanted to make a difference. And I got the job from hell, which everyone should have at least once. Really, everyone should have it at least once. And it was with working with registered dietitians. I approved their continuing education. I sat in a windowless room and approved continuing ed. And I kept seeing all these fun classes, dealing with difficult people, how to be a better communicator by those national seminar firms, and thought, I want to do that. So, in fact, I started at NSA when I was 22, right out of college, and everyone told me, you need more life experience. So I went and got this awful job and went, all right, I think that's good. And so I found out the national seminar firms that were setting these courses. And then I just started asking around, how do you get there? What do you need to do? And you needed to send a videotape at the time. And that's what I did. I asked a girlfriend who worked in HR, can I do a program on stress relief for your employees? She said, yes. I had it filmed very poorly, and they brought me in for a live audition. So I worked for SkillPath seminars, as many people in NSA and speakers have. And it was the most amazing boot camp experience you can imagine. You get reviewed every single day. You're in a different city every single day on various topics. So you get really good, really fast. So after 4 years of that, I thought I want to do my own content, and I only want it to be for an hour, so I'm not in the fetal position every day. So that's what I did. And that was 20 years ago, I guess.
So you did SkillPath for 4 years.
Yeah.
Man, I know people that have done it for longer, obviously, but most people do it for shorter because it's so exhausting.
Yeah, it is. But I was young at the time. I couldn't do it now, I don't think.
Right. Hashtag, I'm too old for that crap.
Major.
So SkillPath, and let's talk about this, because I know a lot of people listening have this challenge, and this maybe has even come full circle. A lot of trainers get into speaking. And then they say, okay, well, I was a great trainer and I could hold people for 6 hours and it was engaging and interactive and exercises and homework and discussions and whatever. Now I'm keynoting. I'm up alone on this big giant stage for 45 minutes, different skill set. But then some keynoters are being asked, well, can you go deeper? Can you make it more engaging? Can you make it more interactive? Can you make it more experiential? So it may be coming full circle. How did you find that transition from the full day kind of boot camp style, different city every day to, okay, Christine, you've got 1 hour on the big stage in front of 5,000 people?
Yeah. Oh, for me, it was a dream. It's like, how do I take the best of, consolidate it in a coherent way that brings the audience in with you? I thought it was great. And I still do interactive things. I don't keynote one topic. I don't buy that. I built blocks of material in 15-minute blocks that equal an hour. And if they say you only have 45, I take a 15-minute block out. I ask the client, which of these would you want to see? And so that allows me to go from an hour to 30 minutes easily, and there's still solid blocks of material. And then how do you get the audience involved? You want them hitting each other saying, oh, that's me, that's you. Too many speakers are me monsters up there. Me, my, I, my story. And the audience is like, good for you. What about me?
Exactly right. Now, let's talk about your topic selection and how that has evolved. Because I know that the challenge, of course, is when you were going over the skill path catalog, dealing with difficult people, hiring, firing, managing, leadership, sales, marketing, social media, right? They have like 50 different topics. A lot of people, and me included, by the way, came out of a training background where we had this generalist catalog of stuff. And we figure, okay, as an entrepreneurial speaker, I'll just have 50 topics like Skill Path does. Did you start down that path, or how did you start to winnow down your topic expertise to say, I'm not a jack of all trades, Jane of all trades. I want to focus on these topics or this topic?
Well, I knew when working for them what areas lit my fire. So some things I'd gloss over, and then, there'd be a 5-minute thing on humor, and I would turn it into an hour and a half because it was such a blast. And the audience didn't mind. They didn't mind. And I thought, what are my favorite things? And I knew from NSA, don't go in there with 20 topics. I just picked the 3 things that lit me up on the inside that also lit up the audience. Because I think that's key, not just for me, but for people. When I ask my girlfriends, my guy friends, like, what things bug you the most? They're like, it's the fact that there's too much to do in too little time. Or the fact that people are whiny or whatever it is. So I'm always trying to hear what their pain points are, and then match that with my skill set and say, what can I do to create something for that?
Let me take a quick sidebar story. Early on in my speaking career at NSA, they had one of these kind of bureau match kind of, speed dating kinds of things. And I figure, okay, I've got these 6 bureau owners. It was like 2004, something crazy like this, 2005. And I asked them the dumbest possible question. In hindsight, it's the dumbest possible question. I said, so what are the hot topics that you're booking right now? And, when you ask a bureau owner, as you well know, they look at you like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? What kind of question is that?
People still ask that question.
I know. Like, what topic can I go to the library, read some books, and then boom, next day I'm an instant expert on this hot topic? And one of the bureau owners looked at me square in the eyes and said, that really doesn't matter. That's none of your concern. What are you great at? What do you have the expertise and experience and track record and war stories and credibility to share with an audience that's going to add value to them? Because I'll tell you, that's the hot topic. It's not about, it's about Bitcoin. It's about blockchain. It's about globalization. It's about, right. Let's say someone says to me or to you, oh, Christine, it's globalization. You're like, okay, hang on. Let me throw out my business right now and become a globalization expert. Right. Go on to Amazon, buy now. I bought 3 books on globalization. Does that make me an expert? So that's 2 extremes, right? One is the stupid way, which is my way. One is the smart way, which is your way that you asked and did a listening campaign. How do you keep current on these evergreen topics like whining in the workplace and humor and doing more with less? Because even those same topics, I'm guessing in 2010, they were different than they are today. And in 2014, they were slightly different than they are today. So the context around your content, how do you keep that fresh?
I kind of consider myself a Seinfeld, where I'm always doing observational humor. and just looking around you because it's all there. Humor is humor, but it's kind of changed. The examples will change, stories will change. And that's kind of how I do it.
Hey, this interview is a real moneymaker. If you're serious about ramping up your reach and revenue as a speaker, trainer, or expert, book a confidential speaker strategy call with our team. The link is doitmarketing.com/call. It will be the most valuable 45 minutes you invest in your speaking-driven business. Speaking of value, let's get back to the show. Let's go back to this modular 15-minute chunking strategy. Well, first of all, do you use PowerPoint when you present or no?
No slides.
And have you ever used slides?
I tried it once because everyone said I should, and I didn't like the focus not being on me. It shut all the energy down as everyone had to look up at a slide. And I just don't feel that it works for me. Plus, if I want to change direction, sometimes I'm mid-speech and I'm like, this audience needs more interaction, or I feel like someone asks a question that has me go, I can go wherever I want to. Slides, you're kind of stuck with your deck. And you can't just stop midway and go, well, I'm not using any more slides. So I feel for me, it's absolute freedom. And for the meeting professional, they say, thank you for not having slides. I have audiences applaud when I tell them there won't be any slides.
Very interesting. Okay, so we have these 15-minute modules, and I'm picturing Christine at your dining room table with index cards or Post-it notes, or how did you organize these 15-minute chunks? And then give me an idea, give me the anatomy of what's in a 15-minute chunk.
It's funny, we're talking about this because I did it, but I didn't know that I was doing it till someone said, how do you plan for this? And I just thought, well, doesn't everybody do that? I look at the 4 areas I want to cover, and I say, all right, communication, energy, time, and stress. Okay. So I'll say communication. So then I build the point, a story, maybe an interaction, and then a tip for the audience. And then I'll look at, now, how does that transition into energy? If you don't use communication well, you deplete your energy. How do we get more energy? Tip, a sticky idea. So people miss the boat because we're all saying the same thing. How do you say it in a different way? So let's say I'm talking about energy. I'll say, everyone will say, put down your phones, pay attention. I say, wean from the screen. How do you make it a phrase that's your phrase? So I'll say, you need to wean from the screen. And everybody, you want your audience to go, what? You say, so here's what you're going to do. So you tell the story, you give them a task. I want you to not go to bed cradling your phone like a lover. Right? I want you to put it in the closet, in the restroom, in your front hall. So you tell a story about it, then you give them a tip of an action item that they can actually do, and then you transition to the next thing. And you might have them do an activity in there too, but they're usually, I do 4 15-minute blocks. Of course, you could do 3 a little longer.
Right.
That for me has really been helpful because, again, if someone says, the guy before you took too long, or the woman before you took too long, I could easily take out a chunk. And I ask them, which would you like me to take out?
Right.
And sometimes they say, oh, that's too good. No, we're just going to take it from the break, keep going, or bring me back next time for that added material.
Right. Well, so let's talk about that. Bring me back next time brings up another question, which is, it sounds like because you do have these versatile modules, if you will, you're pretty well positioned for repeat business and to come back to the same group and do a related program, a follow-up program, upselling, cross-selling. How does that usually play out?
When you tell them this is a puzzle that we're going to put together for this group this time, there's always other pieces that are still on the table that can create another picture for the next time. So sometimes I have a story list and I check off what I used and I'll show them, here's the material that we didn't do. Maybe not next year, but 2 years from now, 3 years from now, bring me back. A lot of people will bring me back for their big celebration, like their 10-year anniversary or, some special event that they're having to mark an anniversary. I'm doing a program called the Day of Excellence in Rapid City, and they're bringing back their favorite speakers of the last 10 years.
Wow. Kind of like the super hit list, the A list.
Yeah, a little bit. But I have a little note in each client folder as to what of the puzzle pieces I did so that I can do the new material.
Let me go back to our lightning round when I said pure keynote model versus keynote training, coaching, consulting, etc. Has that changed over the years? And then what's kind of the snapshot of that business model that you have today?
Well, I think it's great for people to diversify because you want different income streams. Of course, it makes perfect sense. For me, I don't want to do the coaching. I've got two kids that, I was pregnant and on the road back in the day. So, I mean, this has been their whole lives. So they understand it. But I want to raise good humans. I want to stay married. I want to be on top of things here too. So I don't want to be busy 24 hours a day. I want to only do 4 to 5 speeches a month. That's it. And I want to be in, I want to be out. Of course, I do my pre-work. I do my best to tailor it and whatnot, but I'm not going to go so deep where I'm working all the time. I love having good balance. And I talk about that, so I want to live it. I don't want to be one of these speakers that say, oh my God, I've worked 100 dates. That breaks my heart. And I wonder how your family's handling it, or your relationships, or your friends, or, any other part of your life.
Right, exactly. Well, it's so funny, right? Because we talk about the lifestyle business, and a lot of people have a lot more business than lifestyle. And because they've sacrificed that, which is silly.
Right.
And it's a recipe for burnout and craziness.
Yeah, but you burn out easier that way. I'm in this for the long haul.
Yeah. So your model right now is like keynote only, or do you do some half day, full day trainings as well?
Yeah, I'll do a half day. I don't want to.
Right.
I want to be the 1 hour keynote. If they ask, of course, I'll come back and do something longer. I've done full days. It just wipes me out too much. And I can't get back home to put my kids to bed and hear about their days. So,
well, that was my next question, is because of this lifestyle choice, which is a smart one, like A, having a lifestyle, and then B, having the one that you want. Have you focused more on local/regional marketing, or can you pretty much be anywhere in the country and then be home that night, or how does that work?
Living in Dallas is really fantastic. You can get anywhere in 2.5, 3 hours max. So for me, it's relatively easy. Of course, I'd love to do local things. Boy, if I get a chance to go to Houston or San Antonio, I'll do it. But that's usually not where I get the work. It's Orlando, and Las Vegas a lot.
Right.
But it works. I'm not going to rush out on the client. I'll stay. But I'll catch a flight and overnight it if I have to, so I can be here in the morning for everybody.
So because humor is such a strong suit with you, do you get asked to do a lot of MC work or no?
Yeah. In fact, that's starting to become a thing. That's hard though, because that's a 2 or 3 day commitment.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have done it when they're younger. Now my kids are teenagers. So it's funny because I rush to be home with them. And the moment I give them a hug, they're back up in their rooms. And I think, why bother? Do they even know that I'm here? So in fact, I'm looking forward to announcing something new that I'm getting a co-conspirator for. Tammy Evans and I are concocting something right now. We are starting a segment of our business called MC Squared, kind of like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, where we will come in, we will set the tone, either of us can keynote, opening, closing if they want. We will come to the event the night before, which we always do anyway, but we get everybody riled up. It'll be an energy thread. It's energy that matters through the event. Do social media, run contests, help with attendee acquisition, doing the promo video. We're doing some of these things already, but we're going to double down on that effort. Wonder Twin Powers activate. We're going to be a full package for the event and meeting professionals to really get everything energized. They want to MC the awards banquet, running contests, things like that.
So I was going to ask you about the videos, because you are famous, of course, you and Tammy are famous within our National Speakers Association, brothers and sisters, for creating these awesome event music videos. Is this something that you're also going to do for them, is to make those kind of summary event super videos?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's the full package experience. So it's something they can use as a preview for next year. It's something to encapsulate the whole thing and put a bow on the whole experience. We really want to create an experience for everybody. And I feel like, even in my own business, on my own, what can I do to be more of a partner in this meeting? Not just get up on stage for an hour. What can I do to help get people to come to the meeting, to talk about the meeting, to really make it something that's going to have a lasting effect? I really hate when I go into a meeting planner and I say, well, who'd you have in the past? And they go, it was this person. They were good. I can't remember. Want to be remembered. I want them to know exactly, because that's how I get my business, is referral. I don't do a lot of marketing. I don't do any cold calling. It's all about the experience. So Tammy and I are working on something to put that out there twofold.
Remember, you can't spell Cashen without the cash. If your event wants to make money, you hire this woman right now. Right now. Super quick commercial break. Isn't this interview amazing? If you'd like to get more ideas on how to start or grow your speaking business fast, pop over to our free training at doitmarketing.com/webinar. So I love this holistic approach because this is something that I teach and preach all the time. Don't worry about having a successful speech. Help your client have a successful event.
Yes.
And so that, of course, includes a successful speech. But what can you do before the event, during the event, after the event to make it memorable, sticky, and awesome for their members? What that also includes is let's get more people to get a booth at the trade show, in the exhibit hall. Let's get more sponsors. Let's energize people to buy a full-page ad in the program book for your event. Yes, let's get more butts in seats. Let's do some pre-event videos where you say, hey, this is a cannot miss event. If you're coming to the 51st annual Pipe Fitters National Association meeting, you don't want to miss this. And get them excited to be there.
You've nailed it. You have absolutely nailed it.
Totally love that. Well, you mentioned Tammy, and Tammy was raving about when she was new in the business. You were her mentor, you were her best friend, you were her guiding light. And this is truly the spirit of NSA, right? Is that we see someone new to the business, kind of, hey, what's going on? How do I get going? And you take them, you hug them, you love them, you adopt them as your kid's sister, and you say, kid, here's the ropes. How did that relationship start? She told her version of the story, so be careful. But I'd love to hear your version of the story and how that mentorship and that friendship evolved.
I have to say, David, that this is one of my favorite things in my career. One of my highlights is Tammy Evans. Oh. It really is. People come up to you all the time, I'm sure they do, and they say, I want to be a speaker. And you go, oh, God, not another one. You know, in a way, not because not another one, but the time it takes. But when we knew each other in college, and everybody I knew loved Tammy, but I didn't know her that well. She was in theater and then she went into broadcasting. I was broadcasting and went into theater. So we had a lot of mutual friends. We weren't together at the same time. And years later, we met at an alumni event for Central Michigan University, our alma mater. And we were talking and we just had the best time. And I told her what I was doing. And she just stood there staring at me and said, I would like to do that. And I just turned around and said, oh, you would be perfect. Follow me. And the best thing about her is that when I offered advice, she didn't just do it. She did it times 1,000. She didn't just join NSA. She became the president of her chapter. You know, she was on the board of the national. She just has taken it and she worked so hard. It's just been such a thrill to watch her skyrocket into the professional that she is. It's just been such a thrill for me and so much fun. And because we have fun at these events, at the national events and NSA events, I'm like, I wish we could do this all the time. And we thought, oh, maybe we can. So she's a really terrific, generous, as you know, giving and kind person. And I feel just so blessed to have had the experience of watching her grow. And now she teaches me things. So
well, of course, right? I think that's always the case, that the teacher sometimes learns more than the student, so to speak, or the mentor and the mentee. So you guys, she is in New York, obviously. You're in Texas. Do you guys talk on a daily basis, or how do you keep that relationship so current and so vibrant?
Yeah, it's so great to have a person that you could just speak the truth to. Like, hey, I had a double yesterday on stage. I wasn't on my best. Or, you know, I got hit by a backpack so hard I almost, got knocked out on the airplane. So probably we talk once a week. We commiserate and share ideas. And then probably 2 to 3 times a year, we get together for a little mastermind and get our businesses on track and keep each other motivated. And it's hard too, being a parent with young children in this industry. And so we commiserate and support each other on that to get over some of the guilt that we may feel when we have to miss, a sporting event or a play or something that you're supposed to be at. So we help each other and support each other on many levels. Everyone should have that kind of support system in this business because it can feel very isolating.
So I want to connect a couple of dots because you said that you don't do a lot of marketing and a lot of outreach. It's all about the experience and the referrals and the spin-off business. And the better you get, the more business comes in. And certainly that's true when someone's at your level. You look at little Tammy Evans back when she started and first came to you for advice. I'm guessing that you didn't say, no, don't do any marketing. Don't do any outreach. Don't put your name out in front of any meeting planners. So even though you weren't doing it at the time, what was your advice to her to get those first dozen gigs going?
Okay, that's a really good question. And I think when I go back, I remember some of the biggest things that I did whenever I had a speech, speak as much as possible. I had people come watch me. So I would invite other planners. A lot of times they didn't come. One person did, and that's all I needed. I would farm the NSA website for CSPs and CPAs in that city. I remember going to San Diego, and I had heard so much about Karen Buxman that I wrote her and said, hey, I'm speaking, not I want to pick your brain or can you watch me? I said, hey, do you want to have a glass of wine? And we had such a great time. Then she wanted to come see me the next day. And then when she saw me, she's like, wow, I can recommend you for some jobs. So try to get people when you do speak, don't speak for free, speak for marketing dollars. Can I get a link from your website to my website? Do you have someone who has a great camera that can take pictures of me on stage? Do you have anyone that can film? Can I be featured in a newsletter? Work trade with these people. And, I want to bring 2 or 3 people to review me. I need you to write the National Association and tell them how great this was, if you're happy with it. And so I had her doing those things. And then any of the jobs that I wasn't able to do, I handed to her and she got more experience because it's hard getting started when you don't have the money for the tape. You don't have the jobs for the footage that you want to capture. I mean, it really is difficult, but if this is what you want to do, you've got to hang in there and you've got to move forward and talk to the people who are doing it to find out how they did it and get good. You've got to be good.
That's the missing piece for so many people. And by the way, not just in the speaking business, really in any business.
Right.
Right? Any product, any service, whether you're coaching, consulting, making muffins. People go, well, how do I market my muffin shop? I don't know. Are your muffins any good? No, they're terrible. It's going to be a problem.
Exactly. When I was the co-chair for the Summer Influence with Michael Hoffman for our breakout session, we watched over 325 videos. And it made me want to cry because I don't understand how people could submit a video where the first 5 minutes is you putting on your microphone. You don't even talk for the first, minute. People are walking in front of the camera. There's pictures of people sleeping in the audience. I don't understand how they think that, and they're worried about their marketing or finding the perfect topic title. You got to get good footage. Video is crucial because that's how you're putting yourself out there. And a lot of my people now, they don't even watch my demo. They're looking at YouTube to see what other people are posting, what's out there. So
because of that, do you do some kind of at your desk video updates, just kind of casual face in the camera or no?
No, I want to. I need to. It's hard. A lot of people are great with that. I grew up in the radio business and that's why I wasn't on television. I'm very uncomfortable with the video portion because I'm very critical. But I need to get better at it because that's where it's going. And you can't belabor it. I worry so much I just did a little clip. I have these cell phone sleeping bags that I think are really funny. And I wanted to kind of announce it via video. And I just got too critical and I didn't put it out there. And I thought, you know what? Someone will click on it for 2 seconds. No one's going to be going, oh, the lighting wasn't that great or she talked too long or I'm making too big.
If I had her hair, I would do something different with it.
Exactly. Or she should do something different.
Right.
Yeah. I just need to get over myself with that. And I think that's where we're going. People need to do that more.
Yes, absolutely.
I am doing though, David, the promo video for the client to get the people in the seats. Like, can't wait to be your keynote speaker. We're going to be together at the beautiful, hotel.
Is that just you in your office or you have some fancy green screen thing going on or how does that work?
No, I have a really great piece of art that I stand in front of. But I don't think you have to be anywhere. Some people do that while they're walking through an airport.
Right.
Just make it fun, make it fast, and not all about you. Give the benefits of the program or the event. Right. And also, I'm starting to do some videos for holds. So if clients are considering me, I've been doing a video for them, telling a funny story or as to why they should, bring me in.
Well, let's talk about that. One last topic, then I've got my 2 closing questions for you. because this question comes up a lot, is once you have an initial conversation, and maybe it ends up in a hold, maybe it ends up in a, hey, our committee's meeting over the next couple of months, because that was a great strategy that you just shared about staying in front of the client with a hold. How do you keep that love going? Kind of what's the cadence of that follow-up or nurturing a client who might want to hire you, but the decision might not be for another 3 to 6 months? Or do you just leave them alone and say, I'll ping you back in 3 months?
I'll do an email, then I do a video. And then if I find an article that has something to do with their business, I'll send it. And then what I'll do is then I'll go and compile, like let's say I'm up for a nursing job. I'll go back and I'll screenshot images from tweets from a bunch of attendees and put it on one page. And then I send that. Like, can you imagine the buzz that we're going to get, at your events? Here's some things that happened at my last nurses event. And people take pictures of you and all their tweets. So I'll compile those together.
And you put those on a web page, like lead pages or a page on your website?
No, I make it specific for the client and I just put it on a Word document, make it into a PDF and send it to them.
Oh, I see. So you make a PDF out of it. Oh, that's very cool. And then what's the heartbeat of that? Is that every 3 to 4 weeks they're getting something of value from you?
No, not at all. It's whenever I remember.
Got it.
It's,
okay.
I wish I had a really good system. It just sounds like everyone knows me. I'm like, oh God, that's a lot of work. I'll go, I wonder what happened to that client. I'll kind of go back and go, I should probably hit him up again.
So it's very organic, let's say.
It is. Oh, you know what? I love that word. Yes. Most of what I do is very organic. I wish I could say those. I'm not that good.
Well, that is totally fantastic. So final 2 questions. My final question is going to be, how do people get connected and stay connected to the awesome Christine Cashen empire? So any links that you want to share, website, LinkedIn, we can tap those all into the show notes that'll be below our episode here. But the question before that is, if people were to take one key concept from our conversation today, what would you hope that would be?
Think about your speech and take a look at your I, me, my versus you language. If you have to record it and take a look, is there any way, are you making sure that with every point you give, that you turn it, even if it's a story about you, you turn it to the audience and you give them a thing, an action step that they can do? And are you naming your things creatively? Are you taking your tip and creating a different word that's going to have everybody on the edge of their seat wondering what you're talking about that they can retweet later?
Perfect. Like Ween from the Screen, TM, Christine Cashen. I love it. All right, Christine, how do we get connected and stay connected to all the fabulousness in your world and even the secret projects that Tammy didn't let us talk about?
Go to christinecashen.com. At the top, you'll see all the social media links. And there will be a new page on there with this new project with Tammy Evans. Stay tuned.
Top secret. Stay tuned. All right, my friend, we have to have you back. You're awesome. Thank you for a great episode.
Oh, it was awesome. You rock, David. Thank you for having me.
Well, that wraps up another episode of The Speaking Show. Hey, tell you what, if you like us, rate us and review us on iTunes. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Go grab the notes and downloads and extras at thespeakingshow.com. See you next time.